Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here. Wanted to talk about a few comic books that I really liked that are not your typical superhero books. First off, I've read the first 2 issues of Great Pacific, and I really liked it a lot. The plot is very unusual. So how to explain it? We've got this guy, Chaz Worthington, who is probably the richest boy on Earth. He's heir to a giant multinational oil corporation kind of thing, or energy company. And he's just turning 21 and about to inherit his wealth. And he's got this strange project that he wants to do that will in some way help the environment, which is to go to this giant, the giant whirling clump of plastic that's caught in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. He's going to that, and he wants to turn it into a sovereign nation. And so there's all kinds of interesting machinations to get to that point, and battles with the board of directors of his company and various stuff. That's more exciting than it sounds as I'm saying it now, because I don't want to give away too much. But this is a very compelling book. There's something a bit dreamlike about it, even though it's sort of realistic. I mean, there's nothing here that potentially couldn't happen in the real world, I guess. And I don't know, and I know that there really is this giant mass of plastic containers and bags and other garbage out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so that's real. I don't know whether you really can walk around on it and potentially call it a floating continent, which is what they want to do here. But it's really well written, really well paced. With the first 2 issues, I'm quite hooked, but I can't tell where it's going to go. It's, as far as I know, it's just an ongoing series, but I'm not sure. It feels like something that would be a limited series, so I'm not sure where it'll go, how far it will go. But I'm on for the ride right now. I enjoy the art. The artist Martin Morazzo does his own coloring, and that really shows. It's beautifully colored. The artist himself is, doesn't have a really super strong style. He has a pleasing enough style, and his only quirk is he always makes all the profiles look kind of squished and flattened. Makes me wonder if I ever saw him in person, whether his profile would have that squished, flattened look to it. So I'm really looking forward to where the next issues go. It's definitely one of the image books to keep an eye on. Also, a non superhero book that I like quite a bit is Fairest. I've already raved about the first 2 issues. This is the 3rd issue in the current arc, which is the only Fairest I've read. And I've only read a little bit of Fables, so I don't know how much of the story is unique to the writer Lauren Bukes and how much is based on previous things that have happened in Fables. But we get a lot of interesting information about Rapunzel and sort of the twisted stuff that went around her having children, and the mind games that 1 or 2 witches or other creatures have played upon her. Like a really cool scene of where she makes a nest out of her hair, like a giant spider web, when she has her babies. The main thread of the story is still taking place in Japan, and we get lots of cool Japanese fable stuff going on. So I highly recommend jumping on to Fairest. Still, my only complaint is the sometimes dark coloring that muddies it up a bit, which as I said before, I think is extra hurt by the cheaper, more absorbent paper they use on Fairest, on these Vertigo titles. But the art remains excellent, the story's excellent, so Fairest gets a big thumbs up from me also. And last but not least, it is a superhero book, but I think of it as kind of the non-mainstream, even though it's from DC, is the Before Watchmen. In particular, I am still loving Minutemen and still finding it very depressing. It's a harder book to read. I kind of am finding, now that I'm seeing how depressing it's going, I kind of put it off and make it one of my last books to read. But the art continues fantastic. The coloring by Phil Noto is excellent. To me, this is, I wish more books were colored this well, in this kind of clear and concise a way. We do get some sort of Minutemen superhero action, so it's kind of a satisfying superhero story mixed in with the more sort of tragic elements. I'm really interested to see, there's only one more issue of Minutemen left. I'm really interested to see how he's going to wrap it all up, and if the last issue will be as excellent as all the rest. It was only the very first issue I had some reservations, but as it's gone on, Darwin Cook has done a really good job with Minutemen. It doesn't, despite what the first issue was like, it doesn't really have the vibe of Watchmen. It's its own grown-up take on superheroes. It's a grown-up take on superheroes, but it's its own kind of take. Although it feels completely true to the little bit of information we know about the Minutemen from Watchmen. But Darwin Cook has really made it his own, and really made it adult. So I will be back with you guys with more comic book reviews, because I'm addicted to reading comics, and I seem to be addicted to talking about them. Chat with you guys later.